So, I'm getting older. Surprise, the inevitable is happening. But recently I've been thinking about it a lot because I'm turning 20 in a couple of months, so naturally I'm feeling a bit old because 20 on the internet feels old in the sense that, you've got all these posts being like, support a 15-year-old artist, support a 14-year-old artist, or it's like, this artist looks pretty good, and they're like 12, and I'm like, oh. So I've been feeling old, even though in the scheme of things, 20 is not that old, really. Like, I don't consider 20-year-olds old in other contexts. But it's gotten me thinking about what being successful as an artist means, because, I've kind of been feeling annoyed that, I'm not where I want to be, where I feel I need to be artistically in that sense. So I guess there's a couple of different metrics of success depending on what you're doing as an artist. So there's the success as in just being good at art. So like your technical skills, you can draw stuff good. There's success as in, you're popular online, you've got your big social media following. Okay, you can go, Cat. There's also commercial success, so you're making the monies, which, we like the monies because then we can buy more art supplies, or books is mostly where my money goes. And I don't think by any of these metrics I'm particularly successful. Like, I'm a fairly small creator, which I appreciate anyone that follows me, because honestly, I was like, I'm not doing all the things you need to be doing to be big, looking at trends and making sure you understand the algorithm and making the right content to get big. Like, whenever a post or something I make on any platform, gets comparatively large amounts of views and stuff, I'm often shocked because I'll have no idea why it's successful. Like, I recently had a TikTok that got like 3,000 views, whereas most of them get around 200, and I have no idea why that specific TikTok just hit the spot. So yeah, I guess those are the three sort of main, and then I guess there's also the successes in making specifically the content you want to be making. So for example, I want to be a manga artist, so I want to be making my own manga, hence the channel being themed around that. So even if I say was successful in those other three areas, if I was hypothetically, somehow like a big millionaire from making art, which, is there anyone doing that? Shout out to my millionaire artist, I guess. I don't know how you're doing it. Like, I know that you have those paintings that sell for millions, but does that money go to the artist? Like, am I just in the wrong field of art where I should be making some abstract painting, like, where it's just blue and it sells for 9 million? Do I get that money? Please, someone tell me, because if that's the case, yeah, no, I don't want to make money that way. I feel like that would feel like I hadn't earned it. That's a whole different discussion. I don't know a lot about those, cases where you hear of modern art paintings that sell for millions. I don't know how that works. That tangents made me forget what I was saying. This is all just live rant, because I feel like that's the best way to express this. Because, I am genuinely lately feeling disappointed with where I'm at. Like, I don't feel like my skills are where I want them to be. I've been wanting to be a manga artist since, like, 2019. And, I mean, I've got some stuff on the internet in that, I think it would have been 2019 or 2020. The first manga I posted on the internet was to Reddit Ling 40 hours. There was like a thing that they were doing. If you don't know what two-set violin is, it's a big classical music channel. I play violin. That's how I got into it. And they were doing like this collaboration with the bass dude. And basically there was a thing where they kidnapped Violin-chan, and I drew like in a couple of hours, if that, a comic page about it, because I wanted to get it out as quickly as possible. So technically that's the first thing I published. A 1-page, two-set violin fanfic of everything I could have made. I know technically I did make a video about my first manga. I count that as my first manga, as I'm pretty sure I started that first, even though it never got published or anything. And I don't know where that page I made for two-step violin is. Like, I could probably go try and find the Reddit to find it online, but I don't know where my copy is that I drew. I have not seen it for ages now that I think about it. I mean, my room is a mess, and if I had to guess, it's either in a really old sketchbook or it's in, I've got a big folder because I used to mostly draw on loose sheets. So yeah, there's that aspect of things where I'm a manga artist that doesn't have a manga. I am working on it, and Manga May has really been helping. Like, this month, I'm recording this in April. I am planning to release this, the day I make this. It's the end of April. Tomorrow is May, so we got Manga May starting. But I started technically I started on the last day of March. I've been releasing, making Manga May prompts. So at first I was doing last year's prompts, got kind of burnt out and sick, and then had like a week off, and then I've been working on this year's prompts. So I'm about day 10 or 11 I'm up to. And that's definitely been helping. And also just getting rid of that feeling of, it's a big thing to make a manga page. That's definitely been helping, but that's still not making, an official, project. I am hoping that after May, or, once I finish Manga May, to start working on my manga series, which I think I'm in the scripting phase for chapter 1. I've got, I've been working on something. I've had 2 other projects this year, that I've dropped. The first one was because I felt like the premise was too broad. So basically the idea was I was combining Glee or Pitch Perfect with Sailor Moon. So it was a bunch of magical boys that were in this sort of club, doing music and stuff. But it felt like there was 2 separate stories, and that, if someone was interested in one and not the other, it would feel like that the other was filler. It just felt like the scope was too big, and I was like, oh, well, I could maybe shrink it, but it felt like what made it interesting for me was that big scope. And then the second one was based on Dante's Inferno, and I ended up procrastinating for ages because it meant I would have to study Dante's Inferno, which, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's this massive, big poem that is a big foundation for how we conceptualize hell in pop culture, like the Christian Abrahamic hell. And yeah, so basically my latest story combines, takes elements of the hell concept, but not specifically, a retelling of Dante's Inferno in a Tower of God style, because I was like, okay, this is making me procrastinate. We'll just simplify it and not make it so, I don't want to say derivative, but specifically based on a text. Not it wasn't specifically an adaptation, but it was going to take heavy influence from that. And, well, to do that, you need to know the text you're taking influence from. So probably don't recommend picking a text you haven't already got knowledge of, if you know that you're likely to procrastinate on studying it. For example, if you want to take inspiration from a classic, maybe pick a shorter one than a massive poem, especially if you don't like reading poems that much, and poems always kind of confused me. So I don't know, if you've read The Great Gatsby is relatively short. It's dense, but it's, only about 200 pages, I think. I mean, it did take me 3 or 4 reads before I understood that book and could appreciate it. I remember the first time I read it, I'm like, nothing happened, because it's not a... If you've read The Great Gatsby, you'll get what I mean, but I'm getting off topic. I like to ramble. Well, not that I like to ramble, I just naturally ramble. So yeah, in the manga making regards, I would say that I'm pretty successful. At least I have made some pages that I have, put online and stuff, and just, I have also been doing studies of existing works, to improve skills and stuff like that. So I have drawn manga at least, just haven't got anything, released and published, and especially, if I'm defining success by, having books on store... Books in stores, not books on stores. Wow, prepositions are hard. Or, just being with a publisher. I am planning to go indie just because I feel with my mental health, how it's been recently, I don't think I would hire me. And I'm just not sure what publisher I'm particularly would want to be with. a lot of the, manga publishers in the West, that are in English, aren't that big, and they most of them, like, who's reading them compared to, say, your mainstream stuff. Like, there's a lot of manga being produced, and like, if you're a reader, you're probably focused on the big stuff because there's that many big mainstream series that I guess I don't know how many of the average reader are reading things like Apple Black compared to stuff from Shonen Jump. Like, I imagine, like, even I'm talking about smaller Shonen Jump series, like, but then again, like, I don't speak Japanese. I have tried to learn it through Duolingo. Don't do that, because I've, like, had nearly a year's worth of streak. So I hit, like, over 100 twice in two completely different, like, fair time away from each other, and I still barely know any Japanese from that, and I feel like I should have been further through. So I do still intend to learn eventually, but not through Duolingo. I don't know what they're like for other languages, but just specifically, it could just also be a me issue. I did not find Duolingo was great for Japanese. I haven't tried other languages because Japanese is what I specifically wanted to learn. My brother is learning Spanish on Duolingo for the memes. So I guess if he suddenly is able to speak Spanish, then it's good for Spanish. So yeah, like, and working in Shonen Jump's quite stressful. Like, they are brutal. They will cut your series if it's not doing well. Like, you get 10 weeks of grace, and then, like, the next time they're reviewing, chances are you will be cut because new series do die a lot. Like, you're competing with the likes of One Piece, and readers vote for their top 3. So if you're number 4, that doesn't help you. So yeah, like, I think I would go indie just because I also want to be able to, tell my story without having to. Like, I guess having feedback is good in that, like, you've got editors and stuff, but I have seen series where I feel like sometimes the editors have maybe led the creator astray, and just. I like the idea of being my own boss because that just sounds cool. I know that it's probably a lot harder, but I mean, there's probably people that have made it work. Like, DD Mark is, like, his Ruthless Render, which is on Manga Plus Creators, is getting physical volumes in stores in September, which is great, and, makes it seem a lot more viable than what it has. But I mean, DD Mark is one of the biggest on Manga Plus Creators, so I'm not expecting any sort of results like that. Because realistically, my art, my storytelling is not as good as his, and he's the exception, not the norm, so I'm not getting my expectations up like that. I mean, eventually I would like to have books in stores because reading manga as a physical book is just more pleasant than reading it online. So I feel like that would be the way for people to enjoy it, and just, I like books. That's where most of my money goes. So as for, I guess, the other measures of success, I am kind of, at the moment, not particularly satisfied with where I am in terms of actual skills. Like, the money stuff doesn't particularly bother me. Like, I know that some people, to determine success of, to be a successful artist, or successful manga artist in particular, they're like, you've got to be, able to make your full-time living and stuff off your manga, otherwise, like, that's how they determine it. I honestly don't really consider it based on money. I don't know if I'm just naive or setting my standards too low, but I don't care if my work doesn't make money, to be honest. I'm not in it for the money. If I cared about money, I would not be making manga. It is a tedious, long process, which chances are you are not going to earn your money's worth to, like, based on the work you put in. I'm aware of that going into it, so I'm not judging it based on money. Same with, like, social media and stuff. Like, it would be nice, I guess, to eventually, because I think you've got to get, like, 1,000 subs and a certain amount of watch time to be able to, make money through ad revenue on YouTube. That would be cool eventually, but I'm not on here for the purpose of making money and stuff. I'm on here because I like to, I want to talk about it. I like watching YouTube videos on this. I want to give people and make it more accessible. I'm not here for money. But that is a metric of success I know some people go by. But if your goal is money, I'm not sure why manga art is what you're in. Just, I don't think there's any finance bros that, like, oh, this is the way to get quick, easy money, or like people that are money motivated. I don't think is specifically here. They might be as a, like, company owner, but not as the artist. I could be wrong. There could be some people that, like, are, here to get rich, but I doubt it, as just, I don't, like, for example, the creator of Demon Slayer, I don't think they got specifically rich of having one of the biggest grossing movie in Japan. Like, most of that money went to, the companies and stuff like that, not them. And then I guess, what was the other measure of success? I guess, like, things like followers and stuff. Like, I have been a bit demotivated lately because I've noticed that my YouTube videos have gradually been getting less and less successful, which could just be that I'm producing the wrong content, that the algorithms may be changed, and I'm not adapting to it properly. Also, I'm not sure how YouTube reacts to you spending, like, a year off because of, I was off because of mental health reasons, but I know that YouTube does like consistent content, so that could also be impacting. I could just also be describing it wrong. My thumbnails could. There's plenty of reasons why it may not be reaching the same way, but that has naturally been a bit demoralizing because, even though I'm not on here to get famous and get lots of views, it still sucks when you're getting like 10 people watching. Like, it does make you think, oh, well, maybe I'm just producing garbage. Even though that's not necessarily the case. Like, a lot of this is based on luck. Not entirely, like, but there is an element of seemingly randomness as to what blows up. And, you would hope that your content gradually gets bigger, not smaller. Because if you sort my content based on, like, latest and, like, the, most popular function, they nearly look identical, which isn't great. I have, been noticing that stuff hasn't been performing great, and I'm not blaming any, like, that's probably that I'm doing something wrong, because there are ways that you can research into how to, grow and stuff, and maybe I'm just not YouTubing properly, so. But I guess, like, talking about success and stuff, I would say by most metrics, I'm not particularly successful, compared to, say, what I would want to be, like, to be considered successful. I mean, success is relative. Like, I feel like if you're talking to just some random person, they will just, like, you could be drawing really garbage, and because the average person that isn't an artist, like, they're just impressed that, wow, an actual real human can draw, more than a stick figure, because they're always like, oh, I can barely draw a stick figure. They're always like, whoa, you can draw, like, what? But, like, compared to, say, if you're looking at, like, artists and stuff, which is what I'm more comparing to, because, I mean, I get why to the average person it's impressive and stuff, and also just, like, your friends are gonna be impressed by just anything you do because they're on your side. They just think that you're cool for existing. So I tend to find that they're not necessarily the people to ask. But yeah, it can get a bit frustrating at times where it's like you feel like that you're growing and stuff, and especially because it does sound like that for many, a social media presence is important to get, people looking at stuff. I mean, I saw a recent YouTube video by, dang it, I forgot their name. They were on Monitor Comics' first podcast. I feel like there's gonna be somebody that can tell me who I'm talking about. And yeah, they're quitting, like, social media and stuff because they feel like it's distracting for what they actually care about. That's part of, I guess, what's encouraged this video is to think about, like, It's difficult to be good at everything. Like, art that say is, like, commercially successful may not, like, you may, if you're focusing on, say, Instagram stuff, you might be, not putting in the time you need to make what you actually want to be making, like, or, you might be spending too much time on making videos and stuff, like, editing takes a while, unless you're like me and lazy and, make rants instead of editing. I'm bad at editing. That's the main reason why my stuff doesn't get edited very well. But yeah, there's just there's not really a thesis to this. I'm just personally feeling like I'm not successful where I want to be, which I could make up, like, and I probably have reasons and stuff. Like, I was focused from most of my, like, I mean, I'm 20, so, well, turning 20. I've been in school most of this time, and I was focused on school. I also didn't do art as a subject, so art wasn't part of what I needed to be doing for school and stuff. And it was definitely taking a backseat to that, because I was very academically focused, like, detrimentally so. My home life sucked, so at a young age, I threw myself into school to distract myself from the fact my home life sucked, and then in my final year of high school, it kind of broke me because a lot of stuff at home went bad, and I was losing what was keeping me together, and also it felt like 13 years of work was coming down to, like, one test, one number was, like, ranking you for how well you did for your whole schooling, and yeah, it didn't end well. Pro tip, do not tie your self-esteem to your high school grades. Bad idea, doesn't end well. You may even end up in the psych ward. Okay, that's not all that put me there, but just... And I guess it's the same for art stuff. Like, don't entirely tie your self-esteem to popularity and things. Like, commercial success doesn't necessarily mean that yours is, like, if your stuff isn't commercially successful, doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Like, you just have to go on to, like, anime, like, discourse and stuff and see how many people think the popular stuff is mid to know that, like, the best stories aren't necessarily the most, like, financially successful, and it could also, like, there's plenty of factors as to why a good work may not be seen. Like, you've got things like marketing and just being promoted. Like, if no one knows that your work exists, they're not gonna read it. Like, there's factors beyond just quality that contribute to whether or not something's successful. And just tying your self-esteem to any sort of arbitrary thing that can change, like, we know not to tie us, like, our worth to, popularity, but I still feel like we kind of do on social media, which is hard not to, because, like, they're designed to make you care, and, like, if you put effort into something, you want to feel like you're getting, recognition for it. And you see everyone else, because they show you popular stuff, because they're like, hey, everyone else likes it, you'll probably like it. So you're seeing all these, bigger, better people, and you feel small, and bad, and pathetic. Yeah, just... I know it's easy for me to just say that, but, like, I definitely, at times, feel like that because my art sucks, that I suck. And I feel like the times that most motivate me to, try and improve is I'll be drawing a lot because, I'm motivated, pumped, and then suddenly, like, because I'm drawing heaps and stuff, I'll be, like, realizing that I'm like, oh, my art has these issues, but then, like, I'll be motivated to, try and, like, buckle down and improve it. I feel like if you're doing things like studying, because you know how everyone's like, study your fundamentals if, you want to get better, and you're like, huh? or they'll just tell you to, like, if they're just trying to roast you, they'll be like, go study your fundamentals, you suck. I feel like if you don't feel like doing it, it doesn't particularly work. You have to genuinely be frustrated with your art. If you're complacent, or if you just feel like your art's pretty good, like you're happy with where it is, like, I feel like if you don't particularly feel the need or want to improve it, because, I mean, like, art isn't, like, essential, and, like, I had a point, but I'm just, yeah, I feel like I'm talking around in circles and stuff, and I don't really have, like, anything grand to reveal and stuff. I'm just venting because I'm feeling old, like, based on the internet, and being like, I've always kind of felt this pressure to, succeed young. Like, as a kid, I wanted to write a book, and I felt like I had to write it ASAP, because I was like, well, if I write it as a kid, it'll be more impressive than if I write it as an adult, because, wow, a kid did something. Kids can play Twinkle Twinkle, and people are like, whoa! And, like, I was like, well, if I write it as an adult, it actually has to be good for people to care, and, yeah, that's depressing. Like, what was I doing as, like, I was at the age that I should have been like, everything is possible, instead of being like, I'm a failure because I'm 10 and I haven't written 7 novels yet, and no one will like my stuff when I'm an adult because I'm trash. I also had the same thing with art, where I was like, if I'm gonna, make money from art, it either needs to be that I'm quick at it so that, it's worth the amount, or I have to be good at it. And I picked quick. I thought I should have been at the age where I was like, oh yeah, I should try and improve my skills so that when I'm an adult, I'll be good at art. But instead I was like, I'll just be quick at it, so then I can sell it cheaper and still be worth stuff. Like, I mean, I can't entirely fault my younger self, as I still am pretty fast. But still, it's kind of depressing that I was like, I don't know, I didn't believe in myself enough that I would be able to make good art. And I was like, no, I just need to be quick at it so that I can sell it cheap. I mean, I don't know that if I understood that, like, there's things like prints and stuff. I feel like I'm not sure what my impression of what I was even going to be selling was. But yeah, that was my attitude as a child, which, looking back, I'm like, what was I on? Why was I so pessimistic? Like, this was at a time where I thought I could become the world's greatest fiddle player. But I still was like, I don't know how I was simultaneously so pessimistic and so optimistic. Like, I thought I could succeed, but had these weird distorted ideas of what that meant, and expected it, that I needed to achieve things, because I did recognize that, kids doing anything, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, but then, like, you hit a certain age and, like, it's not that impressive, because it's like, well, yeah, you're an adult. Yeah. I also did spend a lot of time when I was younger, like, I would watch that, studying content, like, motivation, I think, like, all sorts of things. I don't recommend doing that, especially, like, if you're still, like, younger and things, because it definitely did not help. It definitely messed with me a bit. Like, things like motivation study, where they just, like, yell at you to study and stuff, and, like, they make you feel like you're lazy if you're not constantly productive, making money or studying or that sort of thing. Like, I remember I didn't play video games much, because I was like, no, I need to cut out, fun, useless stuff. Yeah, I didn't care much about, like, my mental health and stuff, which, don't do that. No matter what your metrics of success are, you need to still take care of yourself. Your first thing that you should be successful in is just being a happy human. Like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, insert here. Don't, because if you try and just neglect yourself, it won't end well. Like, I know if you're not, I mean, I'm pretty bad at taking care of myself for many reasons. Taking care of yourself is hard, but like, if you're neglecting your mental health, if you're refusing to talk to friends, because that was also something I did a lot, is I was like, oh, friends are a distraction, I need to, just be studying all the time, so I would try and cut off all my friends and, like, not hang out with them ever, like, even at school, like, I would use the breaks to study instead of talking to people. Or I would try and delete all my apps, all my photos. Yeah, I was pretty self-destructive when I would get, like, depressed about, studying and stuff. I'm better now, and I don't do that with my art and stuff. Like, for example, yesterday I was feeling completely garbage, even though, like, I had just recently started, like, videos of, like, day 1, day 2 of, improving fundamentals. I took the day off because I felt disgusting. I felt bleh. I was drained. I was, not feeling good at all. And sometimes you do need to just admit that you feel trash and take time off, which can definitely be difficult if you're doing something where, you're trying to, like, work every day, but sometimes you do have to listen to your body. I know it sucks. I know you want to be drawing all the time or stuff, but you do need to take care of yourself, shower, sleep, talk to people, hug your cat if you have a cat. I have a cat, that's my source of comfort. Even doing things that seem like they're a waste of time, like, I know if you need, like, you do need fun. You're like a sim. One of the Sims needs is fun. And I know that art is fun, but if you're doing it, like, trying to make, money or something with it, if you've got goals associated with it, you do need to, have other outlets and stuff. Like, for example, I've taken out watercolor in part so that I just have a fun medium where I can just draw garbage, because I'm garbage at it, because I only just started. And it's just there. I have tried to, have a go of testing my skills in, some of my other work, but I have no intention of, like, using it in any sort of capacity beyond just, I want to have fun with it. Like, I would like to be good at it, but it's not like I suddenly plan to, have these beautiful watercolor things. Like, I just have it so I can go splish splash fun with the water and the paint and the pretty colors, because colors are fun. If you want to have fun, color. I know that color is stressful because you're bad at it, and, like, it's technically one of the last things you look at in terms of skills, but just putting colors on a page is pretty and makes your brain go, wow. Unless, of course, you just hate color. It could be different for you what you find fun, but I definitely find that if I just want to, do something easy and fun, just, painting a pretty rainbow or, like, a nice sky or something like that can help. Yeah, just remember that art's meant to be fun, and that, like, you should probably define success for yourself rather than, like, if you don't care about social media and, like, that was never part of your goal, then maybe just don't worry about it, because, like, social media does take effort and stuff. Now, like, I don't plan to quit YouTube or anything. Like the creator that I mentioned, I don't know how long ago in this video, but because, like, I've always kind of had an interest in YouTube. Like, I, like watching stuff on here, and I used to picture myself as a kid, making these video essays and stuff about different topics, like analyzing books and things. So yeah, I've always kind of wanted to do YouTube and stuff. So I don't plan to quit and stuff, because that's kind of been part of my goal. But I can understand if you're someone that's only thinking of doing it because you feel like you have to be successful. YouTube's pretty time consuming on its own right, so I can understand why you don't need to do that. Like, there are definitely artists out there that aren't on YouTube that are successful. Same as, like, any particular social media that you don't want to be on. Like if you hate Twitter, which I know a lot of people do, I don't. I haven't seen a lot of Twitter drama. I don't know if I'm using it wrong. I just seem to manage to be very good at avoiding it because I'm barely on it. I just forget I have the app, to be honest. Or if you don't like TikTok because you don't like short form content, or the doom scrolling. Or if you don't like Instagram, I know artists that aren't particularly fond of it. Instagram has definitely gotten worse with you not being able to look up like specific things. They changed how you can search stuff. And the AI feature is not good. Like, I asked it specifically for artists like this, and then would look up the usernames, and they didn't exist. They made stuff up. So that wasn't helpful. Because I was like, oh, what are some artists you think I would like? And then, I looked up, like, the first one. I'm like, this doesn't exist on here. I feel like I should wrap this up. Because I've been talking for way too long, and, like, my head hurts from talking too much. And I feel like I've discussed everything that I was thinking about, and I'm surprised if anyone's still watching at this point, because, I mean, I've just been rambling. But, yeah. Thank you if you have watched this far. And, if you have, I don't know, comment a duck. Yes, comment a duck. I like ducks. And I feel like no one would comment a duck for for any other reason. So yeah, if you got this far, comment a duck. Like, the emoji. I guess you can write the word duck if you really want to, but an emoji. And yeah, if anyone wants to add something in the comments, talking about how they define as success, if you disagree with me on anything, or just start a conversation, start a dialogue, about, what success means to you, and just, I guess, get yourself thinking about what success means, because it's definitely easier if you have an idea in your head rather than trying to do everything. And yeah, be nice to yourself as well. It's very easy for things to bleed into that sort of hustle culture, which, as an artist, I'm not sure how helpful the hustle is for the creative juices. Yeah. I also just have seen the bad side of, what that mentality does to you. Having been there, don't. And yeah, thanks for watching. Shout out to Pikachu and Snorlax, and also my cat who cameoed at the start. And, yeah, thank you.